The sun rose over the coastal marshlands this morning, casting a warm golden light across the water. High above the canopy, a magnificent shape was circling. It was an adult Brahminy kite, distinguishable by its snow-white head and chestnut body. Suddenly, the kite locked its eyes onto a target below. A large egret was wading along the shoreline. With incredible agility, the kite tucked its wings, entering a sharp, highly controlled dive. It struck the water's edge with immense force, binding its powerful talons into the large bird. With an intense flurry of wings, the Brahminy kite rose, carrying its heavy prey up to a secure, tall perch. This dramatic morning hunt highlights the true nature of these adaptive and highly skilled predators. To understand this moment, we must look into their lives. Brahminy kites, scientifically known as Haliaster indus, are medium-sized birds of prey found across the globe. They are primarily residents of coastal regions, mangrove swamps, estuaries, and wetlands. You will often see them throughout South Asia, Southeast Asia, and down into Australia. They are highly adaptable and thrive near water bodies, where food sources are rich, varied, and constant. When it comes to diet, they are opportunists. While they love to hunt live fish, crabs, and frogs, they are also skilled at scavenging dead matter. They will regularly hunt smaller birds, rodents, and insects, making them incredibly efficient survivalists in the wild. In terms of aerial prowess, they are built for maneuvering. Their standard cruising speed is quite relaxed and graceful, averaging around 30 to 40 kilometers per hour. However, when they spot prey or dive to steal food, their top speeds can quickly accelerate past 70 kilometers per hour. This burst of speed allows them to snatch food right off the water. In the ancient art of falconry, training a kite requires a highly specialized, delicate approach. Unlike a falcon, which relies on raw, blinding speed, a kite must be trained to utilize its natural agility. The falconer begins with the fundamental step of manning, accustoming the bird to human presence and the glove. Through strict, careful weight management and rewards, the kite learns to associate the handler with food safety. Once comfortable, training transitions out to accreance, which is a long training line used for flight control. The bird is taught to fly directly to the glove on command, gradually increasing the distance over several weeks. Next comes the introduction of the lure, simulating the erratic movements of a live target. Because Brahminy kites have a strong instinct to scavenge, the trainer must carefully foster their drive to chase active prey. When hunting in the field with a trained kite, handlers usually look for open marshlands or fields. The kite can be cast off from an elevated perch or the fist, riding the thermal air currents while scanning the ground below. Seeing a Brahminy kite take a large bird, like the one this morning, proves just how fiercely capable these raptors truly are. To truly appreciate the feat we witnessed this morning, we must look at the physical mechanics of that strike. The egret was easily twice the weight of the kite itself, armed with a sharp, spear-like beak for defense. When a Brahminy kite decides to target large prey, it cannot rely purely on brute physical strength. Instead, it utilizes the precise element of surprise, combined with downward kinetic momentum from its dive. As the kite dropped from its high thermal cruise, it adjusted its flight path using subtle tail movements. Its deeply curved talons were locked wide open, ready to absorb the shock of the heavy impact. By striking the egret directly from its blind spot, the kite neutralized the defender's dangerous beak instantly. The grip of a kite's foot operates on a tendon system. Once the talons close around the prey's vital areas, the bird's weight locks the grip mechanically into place. Ready to grab, this means holding on requires very little muscle without stopping, allowing them to carry heavy loads over long distances. This hunting method is highly refined over their lifespan. Let us step back and examine the life cycle of these birds. A Brahminy kite's journey begins high up in a tree canopy. where its parents build a bulky platform nest of sticks. These nests are often lined with leaves, bark, and rags. The female typically lays a clutch of 2 white eggs. For roughly 35 days, she incubates them, while the male is tasked with bringing her constant food. When the chicks hatch, they are helpless and downy. During the first few weeks, they are fed small pieces of meat, mostly fish and small crabs caught along the shore. As they grow, their food demands increase rapidly, forcing both parents to actively hunt from dawn until dusk. By the time the chicks reach about 50 days of age, they are fully feathered and ready to take their first flight. This fledging period is a critical phase for the juveniles. They lack the clean white and chestnut colors of the adults. Instead, young Brahminy kites are a mottled, dark brown. This camouflage protects them while they learn to hunt. The young kites spend weeks practicing their flight skills, often dropping sticks mid-air and catching them again. This playful behavior is actually crucial training, building the eye-hand coordination they will need for live prey. They must learn how to read the complex coastal winds and judge the refractive distortion of fish underwater. Many juveniles fail to master this before winter arrives. Those that survive to adulthood will slowly molt their feathers, revealing that iconic, beautiful contrast of white and rust. Once mature, their range expands significantly. Let us look at where these birds choose to live. Brahminy kites are closely bound to tropical wetland habitats. They love old-growth mangrove trees along the coastlines, which provide excellent vantage points for scanning the water. In inland regions, they follow large river systems, flooded rice paddies, and expansive freshwater lakes. They have also adapted remarkably well to urban spaces. In busy port cities across Asia, you can see them soaring over shipping docks and fish markets, looking for scraps. This adaptability is what keeps their population stable. They are bold, interactive, and highly social scavengers, often gathered in groups where food is plentiful. However, their primary hunting preference remains wild prey. They are specialized in the art of low-altitude foraging. A kite will fly slowly over the water surface, feet dangling. This technique is highly demanding and requires great control. If their wings get waterlogged, they can become trapped, making them vulnerable to large aquatic predators or drowning. This blend of caution and courage makes them fascinating subjects for falconers interested in classical training. But training a Brahminy kite is a test of immense patience. As mentioned, the process begins with weight management. A falconer must weigh the bird daily on a precise digital scale, tracking its mass down to the individual gram. If a raptor is too heavy, it will feel completely full, ignoring the trainer's commands and flying away into a tree. If it is too light, it will lose critical muscle mass, becoming too weak to fly effectively or handle cold weather. The target is the flying weight, a state of healthy appetite, where the bird is sharp, energetic, and focused on cooperation. Once this optimal weight window is found, manning deepens. The bird spends hours sitting on the falconer's leather glove, exposed to the sights and sounds of the human environment. It learns that dogs, cars, and voices are not threats. The falconer feeds the kite exclusively on the glove, building a powerful mental link between human contact and food. Next, the trainer introduces the whistle command. Every time food is offered, a specific whistle note is blown. Eventually, the bird associates that sound with a reward, turning its head toward the handler instantly when it hears it. Now, the actual flight training can officially begin. Using the creance line, the bird is unhooded on a low perch. The falconer steps back a few feet, holds out the glove, and blows the training whistle with a clear note. The kite should hop, then glide, directly onto the fist. Day after day, the distance is expanded incrementally. Soon, the bird is flying 50 meters across an open field, battling crosswinds to land directly on the leather glove. Once its recall is completely flawless and immediate, the safety line is removed and the kite flies completely free. This free flight stage is highly rewarding for a trainer. The Brahminy Kite will soar high up into the blue sky, utilizing thermal drafts to hang effortlessly in space. It keeps its sharp eyes locked onto the falconer below, waiting for the mechanical movement of the leather lure. The falconer swings the lure in wide, circular paths. The kite recognizes this as a signal to execute a dive, folding its wings to gather acceleration toward the ground. At this moment, its true top speed is put on display. As it cuts down through the air, the wind whistles through its primary feathers, creating a distinct hiss. Right before impact, the falconer pulls the lure away, forcing the kite to swoop back upwards, climbing skyward. This repetition builds immense stamina and core strength, preparing the captive-bred bird for real field hunting. When practicing actual hunting, patience is key. The falconer walks through wetlands to flush out target species, like water rats, grasshoppers, or common invasive birds. The kite follows overhead, acting as an aerial partner. When a target is flushed, the kite reacts with total instinct. It tracks the quarry's escape path with precision, using its wide tail to brake and pivot around obstacles. If successful, it secures the catch with its talons, waiting on the ground for the falconer to arrive safely. The handler must approach gently, offering a piece of meat, to swap for the catch without causing defensive food guarding. This trade-off forms the foundation of trust in falconry. The bird learns it never loses out by sharing with humans. Instead, it receives a safe, effortless meal every single time. This relationship is what makes raptor training unique. It is not based on dominance, but on mutual benefit. A kite can fly away at any moment if it feels mistreated. The fact that it returns to the glove is a testament to trust. Looking back at wild kites, like our hunter from today, we can see these exact behaviors playing out naturally. Wild kites don't have human partners to give them easy meals. Every single day is a calculated battle for caloric survival. Catching an egret provides enough nutrition for days, but it carries a high risk of injury during the struggle. A broken primary feather can impair their flight for months, making it very difficult to forage or escape larger eagles. That is why their decision to strike is never random. They weigh the energy payout against potential danger. This morning, the kite clearly saw an optimal opening, and its execution was completely flawless. The egret never stood a chance against that dive. As the kite rests on its high branch, consuming its meal, other birds keep a safe, respectful distance from the area. Crows and smaller black kites circle the tree perimeter, hoping to snatch falling scraps from the branches below. Brahminy kites are notorious for this behavior themselves, a practice known in biology as kleptoparasitism, which simply means stealing food caught by other animals. They will routinely bully ospreys and small otters, swooping down to snatch their freshly caught fish away. This allows them to save energy while securing premium meals. It is a cutthroat world out here in the coastal wetlands, and the Brahminy kite is built perfectly to master it. Their combination of intelligence, physical speed, and opportunistic strategy makes them apex survivors. Whether soaring wild over the mangrove swamps of Asia, or working in deep harmony with a falconer in a field, they command deep respect and admiration from all who watch. As the morning sun climbs higher, the wetlands settle down. The kite finishes its meal, cleans its beak against the bark, and spreads its massive wings to take to the skies once more. It catches a rising thermal draft, spiraling upward effortlessly, until it is just a tiny silhouette against the bright blue. Watching these birds reminds us of the delicate balance of nature. Every creature has its specialized role, its unique tools, and its own path to survival in a changing world. And for the Brahminy kite, that path is defined by grace, power, and an unyielding spirit of wild freedom. We leave the marshlands today with a deeper understanding of this majestic raptor and the world it calls home. May its skies remain clear and its hunting grounds plentiful. For many generations of kites still to come. The silhouette of the kite disappears into the high glare. Yet its impact on the ecosystem below remains constant. By keeping populations of rodents and small birds in check, they maintain the balance within these complex wetland habitats. Their presence is a reliable indicator of ecosystem health. Where you find thriving populations of Brahminy kites, you will almost always find clean water and abundant prey. However, modern environmental pressures present new challenges. Habitat loss from coastal development threatens their nesting trees, while water pollution can reduce the local fish populations. Conservation efforts across South and Southeast Asia are increasingly focused on protecting vital mangrove forests. These forests serve as the cradle of life for coastal marine species, which directly feeds the food web supporting the kites. In some cultures, the Brahminy kite holds a sacred status. In Indonesia, it is linked to the mythical bird Garuda, a powerful symbol of freedom, protection, and statehood. This deep-seated cultural respect has historically helped shield the species from the worst realities of human hunting. As the afternoon sea breeze begins to pick up strength, the wetlands shift into a different pace of life entirely. Crabs retreat into their mud burrows along the shallow banks, and the remaining water birds settle into deeper cover. From its immense height, the kite reads these subtle changes, knowing exactly when to hunt and when to conserve energy. It might spend the hotter hours perched quietly in a shade tree, preening its feathers to ensure they remain perfectly aerodynamic. Every single feather must be zipped together correctly. The bird uses its beak to spread oil from its preen gland, waterproofing its wings against the heavy tropical downpours. This fastidious care is what enables those sudden bursts of speed that we saw put on display so beautifully this morning. Without perfect feather alignment, a dive can turn unstable, causing the bird to miss its mark or injure its wings. Understanding these raptors requires looking at them as a whole. An elegant evolutionary design adapted over millions of years. They are perfectly tailored to live at the edge of land and sea. As our journey into their world comes to a close today, we are left with a profound appreciation for their survival. From their patient training on a handler's glove to the spectacular, unscripted drama of a wild hunt, the Brahminy kite stands as a true marvel of nature. Their white heads will continue to gleam in the sunrise, and their rich chestnut wings will continue to ride the winds, safeguarding the ancient spirit of the wild coastal waterways. Thank you for watching this in-depth look at their lives, their behaviors, and their incredible hunting abilities. Keep your eyes on the skies, and until next time, cherish the wild spaces that these magnificent birds call home. May their flight always remain steady and their talons sharp. Goodbye from the heart of the tropical wetlands.